Also, towards getting my ground station working well, my wife ordered herself a new computer to replace the one in the living room she uses all the time in her home office. And she wanted a little monitor to attach to it to have a second monitor to do things and stuff when she travels. So we discussed her using my little 12-inch 11.5-inch FPV monitor. I'll show you that later. But we might share this one. And this is a battery powered 7-inch, basically I think it's a FPV monitor. She found it, I didn't. My little, I'll call it a 12-inch monitor, was having trouble figuring out how to mount it until just recently. And there it is, a little 7-inch monitor, battery on the back, speaker on the back, DC in, 12 volts if you want to run it off of a power supply, HDMI in, audio video composite in, headphones out. This is for an OSD controller, and this is for USB update of the device. There's a 1/4-inch adapter on the bottom that fits most common tripods. Hey, how about that? The other one I was having trouble getting mounted. I'll find it and show it to you before this is over. So I'm going to try to use this for FPV. You can't really use, I am recording the output of the camera from the platform in the ground station, but I'm using rchelp Video Studio Multicam Capture to capture it at the same time I capture the screen that is Mission Planner. And the reason I'm doing that, and the reason I want to keep that way, is because that captures those two at the same time in complete synchronicity. I don't have to synchronize them after the fact. And the little Nano Talon has no OSD in it. So it would really be nice to be able to put the output of its camera right next to the Mission Planner and an overlaid screen and see what the heads-up display in Mission Planner says at the same instant. We can see the camera video for that. Now, I know that's not completely synchronized in real time because of Mavlink communications and communications of the video down to the ground station and stuff. But it's the best we humans can get. So, also, I think that little that new focusing hood yesterday to knock out light is going to work really good around this outside in broad sunlight. Manuals, got HDMI cable, USB. No, that's the composite cable, isn't it? Yep. That's what I'll have to use on the 1.2 and stuff on the antenna. That's normal USB to micro USB, normal HDMI to micro HDMI. Sorry. Here's a little hot shoe adapter. These monitors, that's why I'm not sure if this is an FPV monitor. That's what I'm going to use it for. These monitors are actually made to go on top of cameras, digital cameras and stuff. This is a hot shoe mount for the top of a camera where the flash would go. I think a lot of flashes have a hot shoe on top of them that would allow this. But what happens there is this goes on the hot shoe on top of the camera, and then the video monitor screws into this little adapter just like it would on a tripod. And now this is on top of your digital camera instead of a little 3-inch. Oh, look, you can see me in the reflection. instead of a little 3-inch monitor on your camera or camcorder, you've got this 7-inch monitor. So that's all that's going on here. So technically this is for a 35mm digital camera. I guess you shouldn't call them 35mm anymore, should you? I don't know if you call them SLRs. Some of them are, some of them aren't. So the sunshade goes on it. Okay. Whoops. Ouch. Pulls your hair too if you've got long hair. So there's a small bit of a sunshade on it. I don't think that's going to work outside for me. And then there's a little, feels like vinyl, not much to it, with Velcro on it. A little bigger. There we go. So there's a little bigger sunshade that comes with it. So I'm currently charging the battery, and I can still use the focusing hood with it. They also send this. They call it the magic arm, and I was confused by it for a second, but it's a pretty wild magic arm. It's 2 arms with a pivot in the middle, and on the end are pivots for 360. I mean, they go every direction you can think of on the face of the planet. But then I noticed there's a screw here, but then there's all those, so this piece they send to connect it to a tripod or something, and there's a 1/4-inch hole here. So this screws in here. But I was going, geez, you know, these 2 ends are so floppy. How's that going to work? And then I noticed that also when you tighten this center, it tightens up these from moving around. So it is actually magic. How about that? And this, I guess, is to hold a clamp to a tripod and then go in one of these holes. Boy, the mechanical advantage on this is crazy. You can hurt yourself with this. Now, in order to mount this on a tripod, I actually have something here that's going to work for me for that. Doesn't come with this kit, but it's a threaded sleeve. I was trying to figure out a way to mount that other monitor on the tripod, and I was just flailing around. So now with this on there, I do have a 1/4-inch to put this on top of a tripod, then put it into this monitor. Oops. There we go. Then put it into this monitor. And you can see now I can put this thing in any position I want. I can probably put it upside down. I mean, that's pretty good. Their magic arm is pretty magic. And when you release the metal, watch it. It'll all just straighten. This loosens. The bottom loosens where you can move it around. Just crazy, crazy. Oops, not showing that too good. But that is wild. Now, we'll move on to that other monitor real quick. This is a little 11.5-inch monitor, they say. I call it a 12-inch monitor, but this is one I bought 2 years ago, right about the time I bought the Nano Talon from MRO, because it doesn't have any kind of OSD in it. And you know me, always worrying about telemetry. Even just the video itself is a form of telemetry. Had I been in a monitor or goggles Sunday when we flew, I probably would have trusted that auto takeoff circling around another time or two, perhaps. I don't know. This one is a little bigger, of course, than the 7-inch. And I'll probably use both of them, not at the same time, of course. But what I had problems with this one with, and that's why I offered it to my wife at first, was because it's got a 12 volt DC in, of course, VGA input, HDMI, composite video and audio, a microphone in, headphones out, USB port, and a BNC video port. It runs off of AC. It comes with a little AC adapter. Just a power supply is all it is, converting AC to 12 volts DC. But it's easy for me to get a connector the same as this, make sure I got the polarity right. If I use a 6S or a 2S, I can use a 12 volt regulator and regulate it to 12 volts. You wouldn't want to make a 2S 12 volts. You'd be generating so much heat trying to suck current out of it to get the voltage up. It'd be crazy. Could be done. Not recommended. Probably best to take like a 4S and regulate it to 12 volts. Anyway, long and short of it is I've got to put a battery on this. But one of the historic problems I had is this came with this little stand. It's not made for what I was going to use it for or nothing. And this little stand just slides in this slot in the back and tightens down. But there's no... I was going crazy because there's no quarter-inch screw hole for mounting on a tripod or anything. So I was trying to figure out how to mount this actually on the antenna tower. And I've been struggling with that for a while. In the past 2 days since we ordered the new little 7-inch monitor, I've gone up online and found out that I can get a tripod for this very, very cheaply and easily using these Visa holes. I don't have to have that quarter-inch. And this is the tripod solution for this. It's a TV tripod, TV stand, whatever you want to call it. It's $37. On the back of it, you can see here it has the holes that would line up with that Visa on the back of it, mounting plate. And then this is a one-piece tripod. So technically that TV's pretty hard to mount. I never got super serious about it because it wasn't ready yet. But I did try a few ways to attach it to the antenna tower, so all that with the monitor and the video receivers would all be a one-piece unit, and you could sit there and FPV with that tower, and that was it. So it's pretty good solution. This goes 32.3 inches to 59.8. Goes taller than I need it to go. So that'll get both of those monitors able to be used. The problem with the Multicam Capture, the current version of it, is, let me see if I can show you that. So this is the way that multi-camera capture software comes up, and you see right now it's set to record the computer screen, and I actually have a SkyDroid attached to it, video receiver. So when I click show all sources, you'll see right here's the little SkyDroid where it's going to record that second source. I don't want to try to fly in this little window right here. Just a second, let me put a regular camera in that window. So I just put a regular video camera in. This can do up to 6 cameras at the same time, and it synchronizes them all because it's recording them all at the same time. It does a really good job with up to 6, no more than 6 cameras. So this would normally be the SkyDroid right here that I would be recording, or you can say I don't want to record that. And you see this is still like a 1/9 of the screen size. So on a 7-inch monitor or a 12-inch monitor, whatever's in my, I guess it would be my notebook, that's like a 15-inch monitor. This would be a very small picture that I wouldn't want to fly from. So my ground station, I'm making it record the screen, which would be Mission Planner at the exact same instant, it would be recording that Sky Droid, which right now I have this web camera in that slot, so you'll see what I'm talking about. Would be recording the video transmissions from the platforms right here. These windows just aren't big enough to fly from. And the mission planner, there's a way to put this behind the mission planner. I'll put this camera right here behind mission planner for you real quick.
So this could work. Let's see. We go in here, seize the camera. We'll start using that camera, and that will make it appear in this window. Oops, you're looking at the wall, camera. Now then, let's not look at that. Let's point it across the room. Now then, you can switch it with the map. That'll make it bigger. Makes it over half my notebook screen. You could even, if you didn't care about this map data as much or these data points here, which I do, you could scooch that as far left as that and have this much of the notebook screen as a FPV display. And because like this camera has no OSD, the Nano Talon has no OSD, you can actually overlay the Mission Planner OSD over the top of that video. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that. Now there is one problem with this method. You know, this computer's doing the telemetry, it's saving it away. It's doing the capture program is running, it's saving away the screen. At the same time, it's saving away another copy of this video that's behind this HUD right now. And then it's doing, showing it to you and stuff. I got a feeling the latency in this display right here, well, no, I can 100% say that the latency in this display here will be greater than one of those little FPV monitors plugged directly into a video receiver. So I don't know how workable it'll be, but we'll see.
And there it is with the focusing hood. This is the back of it, of course. The focusing hood goes around it perfectly. So that will be almost a light tight. Well, no, it'll be much better than it was though. We're finding a solution, and I think we're getting it. Well, I don't have full sunlight right now, but so far that focusing hood is doing exactly what it was intended on doing. It actually comes down further over the sides than I thought. So it really is working well. I can actually see the computer in the light right now, but oops, that one just slid. So that has done what it needs to do. Now I'm trying to figure out how to put an FPV monitor under that too. So I think for starters what I'm going to do, that computer will have to be a little further to the right because there's a telemetry radio and a video receiver plugs into 2 USB ports on this side. But with that smaller monitor, the 7-inch monitor, I can get it in here beside the computer. Can't really with the bigger monitor. Might mount it someplace in there, and reason for that would be so I can compare the latency between this plugged directly into a video receiver and this plugged into a video receiver here, and then processing everything. It's processing before it displays the data, the video and overlay, whatever. I just think this is going to be much slower, and I'm worried the latency would be so bad it's unflyable. I do not know at this point. I guess if you're up at 400 feet and you make a mistake that takes 30 seconds to view in your monitor, it doesn't matter as much as if you're down lower near the ground. So something like that. Something like that. And of course the monitor's not going to be that low. It would be, if anything, right up where you can sort of see the data on both of them at the same time if you're going to be comparing latency. But you see, this monitor's just too big for that. Pretty much no matter where I put it, it would be blocking the screen. You might be able to do that, but see, there's just no, it's going to overlap that other screen no matter where you put this one. So, all right. Be nice to have that focusing hood over the top of this, covering everything. Ground station computer and FPV monitor. Nice and dark. So, I never been to the point yet where I was doing FPV with an airplane, but it's time. So I'm trying to get everything lined up here where next time I can actually see the computer to set up the ground station and everything that I have to set up. That was terrible the other day. I just couldn't see it. So we're at least know that we've got that out of the way. And then the next step would be to actually use some monitors here for FPV flight. Getting real close to having it all nailed down. Thank you guys so much.